And we're back. Hello, hello. It is Daniel James again. So, fun fact: if you are watching the recording of this, right, the replay, I live I live in a strange place. I actually don't control the internet where I live. It's provided to us through our living situation through our landlord. He actually gives us high speed internet. It's really fast. It's really good. But the problem is where we live. The Wi-Fi is not consistent. Right, that's not very stable. It cuts out a lot. We kind of live a little bit of like a little hick town, and the internet where I live, although it's good quality internet, it just cuts out all the time. So if you were just watching the previous stream, we were talking about extraterrestrials, um, and the cause, and my internet cut out. So this will be part 2 of my live stream today. Thank you for being here. Thank you for watching. This is a pre-recording. So I will stream until about an hour. If anybody comes in, anybody wants to chat, I will be happy to discuss anything people would like to talk about. This will be about a 1-hour stream. Just if you are listening now, my internet is spotty. It's very inconsistent where I live. So I had to actually change my connections altogether just to get something to work. But here we are. So for the next hour, I will be Daniel James at your service. Let's go. Hello, hello. Welcome to the stream. We are back up and running. Hi. Hello, hello. Jojo, thanks for checking out the part 2. This will be part 2. We'll do about an hour stream. You know, one thing that I actually wanted to do before I launched the stream today was I was going to change my internet networks. We have multiple connections. I was going to do that and totally forgot because I'm main all the time. So it's hard to get through a 2-3 hour stream without, an internet connection. But we have another one, our network, that it's a little bit more consistent in its quality. It's just public. So I try not to use it unless I have to. But here we are. Hello, hello. Welcome to the stream. We currently have 2 viewers. How may I be of service? How do you feel about ET rep in media? I think that it's heavily, heavily, heavily agenda based. I think that it is completely controlled and manipulated. I think that the narrative and the depiction of extraterrestrials in our mainstream media is it's leveraged and it's angled in a very specific way that is designed to teach people who are unaware, who don't have sort of the inner knowledge, the more esoteric knowledge about the existence of extraterrestrials. Our mainstream media is designed to skew and distort the existence of extraterrestrials in a very negative and fear-based way. This is designed to keep people limited in their 3D sort of matrix lives. And it's designed to make sure that people who don't have a lot of understanding or awareness, they don't investigate, right? They don't go looking for answers. They don't go seeking community or support and trying to make their connections in trying to learn the truth about the presence of extraterrestrials in mainstream society. Is there any good representations? Alternative media, absolutely. So, what I would recommend for anybody that wants to learn about the presence of extraterrestrials through mainstream media would be, now this is, I know this is asking a lot, but start looking at Hollywood entertainment, such as movies, television, film, comic books. Start looking at that as fact. Make it a game, make it a challenge. But imagine if all of the movies and the TV shows that you saw were all derived from the truth. They they were all of their baseline story or the information or the content that's being depicted in sci-fi films and TV shows and movies is all coming from it's all derivative of some truth. So you could start by looking at sci-fi concepts, extraterrestrials, and mainstream media as being a type of disclosure. It's just being delivered to you in a work of fiction. That's by design to help put a spell on all of the people, create an illusion that nobody will ever believe extraterrestrials actually exist. Nobody will really believe that we have secret space programs that nobody knows about. Nobody will really believe that extraterrestrials are us and we are them, that humans are actually Lyran and that we are actually extraterrestrial. Nobody will believe that if they depict it to us in a way that's fictional, that's fantasy, that's designed to help to make us feel like what we're watching is so fantastic that it could never be real. Like that can't exist in my version of reality. So start looking at TV shows and movies as a type of disclosure and being open to what's depicted in these TV shows and movies as actually being real, as being the truth. That's a good place to start. That's one way that you could sort of twist a sort of skewed, distorted view on extraterrestrials in mainstream media that's given to us sort of in a limiting, fear-based way and turn it into a positive. Be like, wow, well, that stuff really exists. And then I think that if there is a dark side, right? If there are secret societies that control planet Earth, which there is, then there has to be, as one of the laws of the universe, there has to be the balance to that. There has to be a counterpart. There has to be an equal sort of yin and yang. That if there are negative factions, there has to be positive factions. If there are good guys, there has to be bad guys. If there is malevolent factions, there are positive factions. So if you go back and watch the previous stream before we lost our internet connection, right? Because our star seeds are always getting fucked with, especially on YouTube. We were talking about a race called the Christus. And the Christus race would be representative of one of those positive factions in the mainstream media. So if there is a dark, negative, malevolent secret society, a group, factions of many secret societies that control planet Earth, then there are secret societies that are also positive for the people, working in an effort to help us, to educate us, to inform us, right? So with that being said, sorry, that was my cat. With that being said, the Christus is an extraterrestrial race that has a faction that we call the Cause. And this would be an example of a race that's very powerful, that's very involved, very integrated in our society. And they do produce their own mainstream media that depicts extraterrestrials and works of science fiction in a positive way that is more beneficial and serving to mankind, to human nature, to planet Earth. So it's always a balancing act. I think that the negative factions that control planet Earth, I think that they have way more control over mainstream media than any of the positive races do by design to, continue and further the matrix as is. But with that being said, there's always going to be the light side working to balance out that polarity. So I would say watch mainstream media, TV shows and movies with the perspective that this could be real. These races, these extraterrestrials really exist. And that'll help empower you to start thinking and seeing things differently. And then you can actually choose how that mainstream media affects you. But I choose to always look at everything discernitively and look at it as a tool that can help expand my consciousness. Like, what can I learn from this TV show? What can I learn from this movie? There's always going to be the light and the dark battling for our attention, battling for our sovereignty, battling for our freedom. And so the way I look at it, to answer your question, just discern everything. But I also just like to watch science fiction as if it's science fact? Thank you for asking. Hello, hello. Welcome to the stream. There are currently 3 of you. I will be streaming until about 3:15 Eastern Standard Time. Happy to answer any questions that you might have. We just had somebody asking about is there any positive extraterrestrial representation in mainstream media? I think the answer is yes, depending on how you look at it. Looks like we've got 2 viewers in the chat. I would be happy to answer any questions that you have. Ask me anything. If you're watching this from the future, I'm currently researching the power of frequency medicine, frequency healing. And my partner Lauren and I are looking into purchasing some Rife equipment, if that's interesting to you at all. Rife equipment was invented probably back in the early 1900s, middle 1900s, where um, a particular person he created a type of frequency generator that you could look at. We're not exactly allowed to call it medicine, but you could look at it as like a healing modality in a sense, where everything is frequency and vibration. So there is technology that you can research now. Just Google it. Google Rife technology, and you're going to find equipment that generates a vibrational frequency. And we're really passionate about looking in alternative, supplementation. But I'm big into frequency devices. Like I have the iTerracare one, which I use on a regular basis. But the Rife generators are machines that Lauren and I want to get into using, because if you research what they're capable of, some of the healing potential there is amazing. Like cutting edge, Western medicine is not doing anything like this, using frequency and hertz and vibrational energy to not only diagnose imbalances and toxicity and damage within the body, but also heal it. So that's one fascinating, fun thing I'd like to share with you. Is that I would recommend looking up Rife technology. It's not cheap equipment; it's very expensive. But there is some entry level gear that you can purchase online that if you start using it, it will help you. It will absolutely change your life. Because I've been using the iTerracare one for 2 years now, and I was in like a medical dire straits when I discovered that device, and now it's part of my daily routine, my daily habits, in terms of helping the body heal itself, helping the body balance and manage, the bombardment of toxicity that we're all subject to living in America. So look up Rife technology. It will help you. And we will sit in a collective silence together. One moment, chat. I'm just going to see if a few more people want to join and hang out with us for the next 45 minutes. Cave creatures. Which ones? Joe, would you like to share with the chat our experience in cave diving, where we actually went on like a several mile hike into the caves of Mount Shasta? Cave creatures is very, very, very deep topic. I mean, we have so many species that exist literally right underground that nobody knows are there, that are both 3D like us, and then the deeper that you go into tunnel into the side of mountains, right? Into cave systems and underground, then you start getting into other density frequencies. You're starting to get into fourth and fifth density frequencies where you have entire other species and civilizations that exist. Well, but the physical ones that we have in the 3D before it even turns into another density, we have what you would call as cryptids, but they're oftentimes very fucking dangerous. I would not go. I'm actually not a fan of cave diving, cave swimming, anything cave related, because everything that you've seen in horror movies about the entities and the creatures that exist in caves is just, it's just real. Don't fucking go in there. There's a reason why people don't. Nope. Are the creatures that dwell in caves come from inner earth? Yes. Well, it's another two-part question, right? So, excellent question. Right. Look at two different planes of existence, okay? You've got the 3D earth and you've got the fourth density, fifth density, upper astral, lower astral, all these different realms of energy, right? That are all very real like 3D earth. It's just that you and me are focused in this one right now. So with that being said, if you was to go into a tunnel system that exists right beneath us, you go into the side of a mountain or underground. I like to mention both of those because they're both very valid and relevant when it comes to cryptozoology and entities and civilizations from other frequency bands. We have a physical human being, you have a physical cat, you have a physical dog. You also have what we call cryptids, which are creatures, for lack of a better description, that are just unidentified species of animal that we know nothing about because they are kept separate from us. They're kept separate from our mainstream awareness, separate from our reality. They stay in hiding because I promise you, anything that rewrites science and history in terms of a species or an animal that we know nothing about, they're actually hunted and killed. I know that's dark, but that's a reality that we exist in. So all of those species and those animals that we would call cryptid that live in tunnel systems that are very 3D, just like us, they live in hiding. They stay in the mountains, in the tunnels, so that humans and our government and our leadership don't hunt and kill them, because that's very common. That's what happens. That's why we don't really know they exist, because they're either in hiding or they're all killed off. We have probably hundreds, I want to say in the hundreds of undiscovered, unidentified species of creatures like our animals that exist just underground, just in tunnel systems. Many of them are humanoid like us. Many of them look nothing like humans or animals at all, and they're 3D like us. Those are the types of creatures that dwell in caves from our tunnel systems. So just to recap, you have the 3D realm, you have a 4D, 5D realm, you have the upper astral, the lower astral realms. You're going to have what we call cryptids, creatures that we have that are unidentified, unacknowledged by science and history. They're going to exist in tunnel systems in caves, and they don't come out because they are oftentimes hunted and killed by our leadership. And then if you was to go further into the tunnel systems, you start hitting what I call as density pockets. So these could be 4D, 5D density pockets, different frequency bands, different realms of existence, right? That you have access to, but we don't know that they're there. They're almost like portal systems. And if you were to go deep enough into the Earth's core, but you can also find these portal systems in forests, in national forests. Many, many, many national forests have invisible portal systems. But you can go in to the sides of mountains, into caves. You can hit what I call as density pockets, where it might look like 3D Earth, right? It might look like what you would understand as being like a cave, or you know, this types of things that you see in movies, right? But you actually slip into an alternate frequency band of like the fourth or fifth density. And when you cross that threshold, when you leave the 3D consciousness band of frequency and you get into 4D, 5D, you actually unlock the perception of entire races, entire species that are just like us that exist in the world all around us that we don't see, we don't sense with our 3D senses because they're in their own alternate frequency band. There's all kinds of, like you asked in the chat, there's all kinds of creatures of what we would call as cryptids that come from the 4D, 5D frequency band, and they slip in and out of our 3D realm, and we also slip in and out of theirs. So when I talk about why I don't feel comfortable, cave diving anymore, or why I would never go into a tunnel system or a mountain system, because we do have what you would call cryptids. Some of them are even extraterrestrial, intraterrestrial, of species that we have never seen, that we know nothing about, that are very real, just like you and I, that are oftentimes dangerous, oftentimes scary. And like I mentioned earlier at the beginning of this second part stream, is many of the creatures, or what you would call monsters that you see in horror films, they just exist. They're not works of fiction. They exist in reality. It's just that entertainment is designed to depict things to us in a certain way that makes us perceive them as fiction. You would never be like, well, that doesn't exist in my reality, or I would never see that. That would never affect me, or that's like too fantasy, like too fantastic to exist in my version of reality. And that creates like this spell. It creates like an illusion, a barrier in between how you perceive reality and what you know to be true, and what you think or what you believe to be fantasy, a work of fiction. But like I mentioned at the beginning of the stream, I try to look at everything with an open mind from the perspective that oftentimes mainstream media, in terms of television and film, is just depicting the fact. It's science fact. It's depicting real things to us. They just sort of they package it up in a way that makes it look like fiction, so that we would never believe that that's accessible to us, that we could ever experience magic or creatures from another realm. So going back to inner earth, right? Inner earth, it's not solid. It's more like a honeycomb. It's more like a network of tunnel systems that are both 3D, just like you and I that live on the surface, and that there is also, like I mentioned, density pockets, where if you go into the sides of mountains, you go into national forests, you go deep down into cave systems, you can slip into 4D, 5D Earth, which are the types of places that you fucking no idea what is down there. I mean, you have no idea. Everything from the most sci-fi. Imagine the most sci-fi movie you've ever seen in your life is down there in 4D, 5D density pockets. Also, think about Lord of the Rings, the Middle Earth. You also have entire societies and civilizations And beings, or what I call intraterrestrial beings, like, right, if there's such a thing as a star seed, there are also earth seeds of intelligent, sophisticated races like us that exist inside inner earth. There are several civilizations that are down there. So when you get into 4D 5D density pockets by going into the sides of mountains, or stumbling across them in national forests, or going into cave systems, whole reality will change, where you'll literally you'll be fucking hiking into it, deep into a cave, and then it's like Lord of the Rings. You're seeing dinosaurs, and you're seeing like creatures that fly, and all kinds of civilizations that are like, elves and things like that, that our mainstream media is just pulling that information from the fact and then depicting it as a work of art, as a work of fiction through TV shows and movies. So when you get into density pockets, 45D density pockets inside inner earth, you're having entire civilizations. I'm talking about entire cities, both on the side of being like Lord of the Rings, that you would perceive as to be more like, 15, 16, 1700s. And then you have total fucking the year, 2090, where it's like, the year 3 bajillion, where it's like cyberpunk. Those types of cities exist inside planet Earth when you get into 40 and 5D frequency. So I know that was like a very long-winded answer to your question. Definitely trying to fill the time slot here, so I appreciate you asking. I don't go in caves. I try not to go deep into mountainsides. I try not to go into national forests by myself, because if you do get into these alternate frequency portals, they're invisible. You are going to see things like Lord of the Rings or Blade Runner that you're just like not mentally, physically, or prepared to experience. That's why our attention and our energy is kept very focused, right, on the 3D surface realm as a human civilian. Work your 9 to 5 job, see your doctor, pay your fucking taxes, watch the sports game on Sunday, buy a ticket to see the new, movie, the new big thing, watch the news, click a targeted ad, right? These are all things that are designed to keep you focused in your 3D life, so that we never know that there are things like creatures and cryptids that exist right inside tunnel systems in the inside of mountains. And that we never know that there are portals that can take you to other frequency bands called 4D, 5D reality, where there is entire societies, there is entire unidentified species in terms of science and history that exist that we know nothing about, because they're just kept separate from us, right? We're on the surface level. Then there is the astral, the lower astral, the upper astral. There's the 4th density. There's the 5th density. These are all very real versions of reality that exist all around us, that we have no understanding of, because we're too busy living our civilian 3D life focused on the new fucking headline, or the next greatest, prediction, or the new war, or the new medical emergency, or the new drama between countries at war. So like, even the new sports game, right? It's football season, so everyone's watching football. Even me, I'm part of it. I'm a gamer. I play video games. That's my version of staying in the matrix and keeping my attention focused on things that really just don't fucking matter, that keep your attention away from doing things like entrepreneurship, investing in alternative medical health, and keeping your mind, your body, and spirit healthy, and working towards your personal goals, building and running a business, getting involved in your community, strengthening your relationships to your friends and your family, pursuing your creative endeavors. These are all things that we could actually be working on and experiencing life to the fullest. Whereas, the way that the Matrix is designed, the way that the controllers have our society set up, is we are just constantly distracted. I read something this morning that said that in the average American's day, you will see or hear up to 10,000 advertisements per day in America as an American. And these are things that we're investigating, we're clinking, we're buying these products from targeted ads, playing video games, guilty, I'm a gamer, watching TV shows, watching the new sports game, following politics, getting wrapped up in whatever the headlines are through your local news. These are all things that keep you distracted from what you could be doing to better yourself, to work on your personal goals. So thank you for asking that question about are there creatures that dwell in caves? Do they come from inner earth? Yes, the answer is yes. Thank you for asking. I'm going to go here for about another 20 minutes. I see that we have two people in the chat. Thank you for listening to me rant. If you're watching the recording of this, I like to talk about really fucking weird shit. So, yeah, thanks for asking. I'll live stream for one person. I don't give a fuck. Sleep token shirt. Got this at the concert, by the way. What month? When was that? When did we see Sleep Token in concert? I can't remember. Was it 2023? Or was it the beginning of 24 in Pittsburgh? I can't remember. Oh, shut up. Wow, that's crazy, man. That's fucking crazy. It was... No, you're wrong. No, I don't see any dates. I see... Hold up. Can you Google it? Pittsburgh, Peterson Event Center. There's no date on here, chat. Chat. It was last year in the summer. So then it was probably July. Yeah. It's on the back of the shirt. Chat, can you see this? Nope. There's nothing there. There's nothing there. It's on the front. There's no date on this shirt. Pikachu. There's no date on my shirt. But we did see Sleep Token, and this is the concert shirt that we got there. Yes, there are inner Earth civilizations like Lord of the Rings and Blade Runner. You don't want to go there. It's not a nice place. There's a reason they were kept separate from it. There's a reason that the civilians on planet Earth are kept separate from those versions of reality. Trust me. What is the metaphysical story behind Sleep Token? Behind Sleep of Sleep Token fame? Okay, some Sleep Token lore. Say I'm wearing the shirt. I guess I should talk about the band once. I love metal music. I love anything theatrical. I grew up on bands that sort of depicted themselves in like a fun sort of theatrical way. Sleep Token is no different. The concept of sleep, right? So this gets into the idea of deities. If you're familiar with like entities from other realms, once again, we're talking about other versions of reality. So in the lore, in the story of Sleep Token, the lyrics are about an entity that the singer calls Sleep, who is like an actual deity in a sense, like a demigod from an astral realm, a lower upper astral realm. And this entity, Sleep, it's almost something that the lead singer Vessel writes about almost romantically, almost like as if they have this sort of subservient, sort of codependent relationship to each other, almost like in a way that Vessel worships, the way he writes about this sleep deity from another realm. It's almost romantic, like if you listen to like Christian music, which this is not Christian music, but if you listen to Christian music, when somebody writes about God or Jesus, it's almost like very romantic, right? Like the way that they write about their devotion and their relationship to the deity is very romantic. So Vessel from Sleep Token, he sings about this deity that he calls sleep, very similarly to the way Christians write their music. And like in the lore, in the fandom of Sleep Token, a lot of people just they don't really know exactly what the relationship is between Vessel and Sleep, or the total origin of this entity. All we know is it's like a higher dimensional, higher density being that has a very complicated and toxic relationship with the singer Vessel. He calls himself Vessel because he considers himself a vessel for the entity of sleep to deliver its message through. So it's all theater, right? It's all entertainment. It's very metaphysical. I'm also attracted to that idea because if you're somebody that's into like ritual magic, like if you're into deity relationships or deity ritual work, right? Demonic energies, things like that. People do ritual magic to work with entities from other realms, from other densities and dimensions. These are all your demonic entities that they work with. I would see the character of Sleep from Sleep Token as being just another depiction, maybe even like an egregore or what they call as a tuplis, which is basically like a manifestation of your thoughts and your desires and your will, your imagination, your beliefs can actually manifest entities and beings in an astral way that then has life. It has sentience. It has awareness. And now that you've projected your consciousness into the ether, into the astral realms, and it is manifested a real entity, you can then interact with that entity. And oftentimes, because it is bound in the astral realm, which isn't our 3D realm, it's its own version, it can do things for you, it can do things with you. Because the astral realm is all around us. The 3D reality is actually just another level of astral. I know that's complicated as another topic, but I think that in the Sleep Token lore, Sleep is a deity that Vessel, I don't want to say worships, but he definitely worships. And I think that they have a sexual and a romantic relationship. There you have it. Maybe it's his sex demon, right? It's his succubus. I don't know. Good question. So there's some Sleep Token lore for those interested. We've got we got three viewers in the chat. Somebody ask me something. I've got 15 minutes left in me. I'm ready for anything. Hit me. Don't be shy. We just talked about what I think is a sex demon from the band Sleep Token. You know what? I didn't realize that. I think I need to go into like the Sleep Token Reddit and just tell people, hey, for those that don't understand like ceremonial ritual magic and work with deities and demonic entities, I want you to know that sleep is Vessel's sex demon. That's all. Right? It's funny. I bet you a lot of people don't realize that, but it's in the lyrics. If you just read the lyrics, they're it's just a I'm not going to say anything else about it. Right. So what am I drinking? Good question. Okay. Thank you for asking. This, because I'm like a weird health nut, I'm like a health freak. This glass jar was like $45. because it is a glass jar that doesn't have any lead, any metal, any environmental toxins. What a lot of people don't realize is glass is just a crystalline structure that can actually collect and contain heavy metals, which you don't want to consume. So I spent $45 on this glass jar so that it would be a bit cleaner, safer to drink from. And I make what's called a structured water. A lot of sports players, athletes drink structured water because when you structure water, you change its physical structure to being more linear instead of less clumped and sort of clogged. And it penetrates your cells better. It gets into your blood vessels, into your muscles, your organs, your brain, and it helps you hydrate more properly, right? You don't realize that a lot of the water that you're drinking um, is so destructured with so many contaminants in it that it's not even penetrating your cells and hydrating your body properly. So I use something called the IteraCare wand, where I'm actually structuring my water so that it penetrates my cells and properly oxygenates the blood, helping you, detox better. And then inside of the water, I add certain things to it, right? So I'm big into like supplementation. I'm big into alternative medicine. I'm big into alternative healing. So what I like to do is I'll take like a neutral point in my water, right? I structure the water so that it penetrates my cells better, oxygenates and hydrates the body properly. And then I'll add minerals. I'll add certain salts, certain types of volcanic salt, Celtic sea salt, Himalayan salt. I will add a lot of the supplements that I don't get from my diet, supplements that I don't get from food. I'll add things like fulvic acid. I'll add copper, zinc, selenium. I add, like I said, a lot of complex salts, pink salt, Celtic salt, volcanic salt. And then I add, sometimes I'll add iodine. One thing that I did, I researched this study a couple months ago that one of the leading causes of breast cancer and prostate cancer is because of a lack of iodine. That everybody who has breast cancer or prostate cancer, if you check their levels, they're like in the red zone, deficient in iodine. So it's something that you're not getting from your diet. But if you don't have it, if you research what happens to your body when you're deficient in iodine, it's lethal. So I supplement with iodine, add that to my water as well too. And I also just take like over the counter general mineral packets in it. That's where like the coloration comes from. So I use a vitamin packet, and then I add whatever I feel like I need in my water that day. So I do like kinesiology and muscle testing. So I'll muscle test certain salts, minerals, vitamins to see what my body needs at that time. And then I add that to my structured water so that it's properly oxygenating the body, properly hydrating your cells. And so it's almost like what I call like my super water. It's like my super water supplement that I'm basically making. I'm not somebody who drinks like bottled water. I would never you couldn't pay me to drink tap water. I don't even cook with it. Um, Things like that, right? And I'm just gonna show you guys real quick. Oh, this is Pippa Lee. She help, help. She's killing me. She runs our house. She controls my house. Um, she's got to play, right? If you don't play with her, you're dead. So I'm just doing this to satiate her bloodthirst, right? This is Pippa Lee. She's my little Irma Starseed. We're gonna let her go. Yeah, so that's my health tonic that I make myself, and I don't have a name for it, right? It's just something that I like to. I feel like this sort of metaphysical alchemy to water and supplementation. I don't just drink water because I'm thirsty. I drink it because I'm like, this is a crystalline molecular conduit that is designed to send electricity and hydration through my body to help my body run like a machine. And so I know I keep showing it, but like we're just talking about water. That's that's the chat today, guys. We're talking about my homemade science project. Being conscious about what you put in your body, not just accepting that everything that we consume is what we think it is for face value. I like to read my fucking labels, I like to read what are the ingredients in this supplement that I'm taking or in this food that I'm eating from this restaurant. How is it sourced, right? Is it contaminated with heavy metals, environmental toxins? Was it stored in a lot of like really cheap low grade plastic? These are the types of things that I consider when I'm trying to be conscious about what I consume. So water, I think the average American is probably in a constant state of dehydration because most people don't like drinking water. They want to drink soda. They want to drink energy drinks. They want to drink, Gatorade and shit like that. And that's fine. But you just have to be considerate about what you're consuming in terms of the ingredients of something. And I'm very conscious about that. I'm even OCD about the waters that I drink. So when I'm at home and I can control what I eat, I can control what I drink, I'm very conscious. So in this particular mixture here, it is structured with terahertz frequency, which if you listen to the stream from earlier today or possibly the last stream, I'm talking about the power of frequency medicine and how you can program and structure your water with medical properties. And then I add a variety of salts and supplements to it based on whatever my body needs at the time. So that's what I'm drinking. Thank you for asking. We're going to go for 10 more minutes.